For one man's escape to the countryside turns into a nightmare he never imagined. When Alexei arrives at his late grandmother's rural home, he expects peace and quiet. But what awaits him in the darkness is far from peaceful. As the nights grow colder and the air fills with the stench of decay, something sinister begins to stir. Can he survive what haunts the shadows, or will it swallow him whole?
Alexei drove along the winding road leading to the village where his grandmother had once lived. The old house stood deep in the forest, and no one had visited it for a long time. Alexei wanted to take a break from the hustle and bustle of the city, away from people and technology. As he approached the house, the landscape became more and more barren and gloomy. The dense forest flanked the road on both sides, and it seemed as if time stood still here. When Alexei entered the house, an oppressive silence enveloped him. The house greeted him with cold and the smell of old wood. He turned on the light, but the bulb was barely on, blinking with a faint yellow glow. The floors creaked quietly beneath his feet, and the occasional crackle of old walls could be heard in the room. Despite the cozy memories of his grandmother, he felt something was wrong. In the night, Alexei woke up from a strange sensation. There was a slight odor of rot in the air, and he felt movement in the room. His gaze fell on the corner of the room. Something was moving there. A rustle, barely audible, made his heart clench with fear. From the darkness came quiet, intermittent breathing, as if someone was near him. The shadow in the corner began to approach slowly. Cold fingers felt like they were touching his skin, and the air became even heavier, as if each breath was hard to take. Alexei felt something invisible reaching for him. The slight rustle of fabric and the sound of footsteps made his blood run cold. He wanted to jump up, but his legs wouldn't obey him, as if something was keeping him in this house. Alexei gathered all his strength to jump up from the bed. He felt something trying to hold him back, but his instinct was screaming, "Run!" With each step, the floor beneath his feet crackled and his heart beat so loudly he could barely hear the sounds around him. Out of the darkness, he heard a hoarse whisper, his own name spoken in a low, menacing voice. The wind outside the window suddenly increased, as if nature itself was trying to warn him of danger. Alexei ran out of the house, barely closing the door behind him. He ran down the road, feeling that something was chasing him. The smell of rot did not disappear, but only grew stronger. The forest grew darker ahead, and the shadows of the trees seemed to grow closer with each step he took. A distant, sinister laugh echoed behind him, disappearing into the night wind. Even as he reached his car and drove away, he could still feel the gaze of the old house on him.